Hello, everyone. Today, we want to talk to you about 7 secrets that banks absolutely don't want you to know. Our lives are inseparable from banks. There is no doubt banks provide us with a lot of convenience. From card payments, business transactions, deposits, wealth management. To applying for loans, banks are like a trustworthy middleman. They seem like a reliable friend. As a neutral third party, they are greatly involved in all our social activities related to money. So are banks completely honest with us, without any reservations? After watching today's show, you will probably be surprised that there are so many secrets that banks absolutely don't want you to discover. Before the show officially begins, please don't be stingy with your likes and follows. Your support is our biggest motivation to keep going. The first secret is that your money is shrinking every year. It seems that for ordinary people, putting money in the bank, entrusting the bank to keep it, is the best way to manage money. But do you know that the money you put in the bank is shrinking every year? Not because the bank charges a storage fee, but because of inflation. Inflation causes the prices of goods to rise every year. The cost of living is getting higher and higher. Inflation causes the same amount of money to lose value over time. A decade ago, $1 could buy a wholesale ice cream. Now $1 can barely buy a box of ice cream that tastes like artificial flavors and creamer. You may have also noticed that the teriyaki chicken rice near your work often quietly raises its price by a few dollars. And the portion size is getting smaller and smaller. And these are all because of the inflation behind the scenes. Currently, taking the United States as an example, the annual inflation rate is around 2%. So if your money is just sitting in the bank, doing nothing, only relying on the interest rate that is less than 1%, then you are doomed that this money will be worth less and less every year. The second secret is that every transaction you make is being fleeced by the bank. Back when credit cards were not very popular, many stores would ask customers who use credit cards to pay an extra fee. Have you ever wondered why? The reason why stores do this is because credit card payments require the bank to provide this service and provide card machines, and these are all extra costs for the store. The truth is that not only credit card transactions, any card transactions the bank will make a profit from. It's just a matter of how much they make today. Whether it's credit card payments or debit card payments, we rarely encounter stores that charge customers extra fees. Is it because, with the popularity of card payments, banks no longer charge extra fees? The answer is of course no. Now the store will directly include the fee in the price of the product. For example, a product that costs $10. If the card transaction fee is 2%, which is 20 cents, then the store is likely to just change the price tag to $10. 2. This way to ensure that the fee does not reduce their deserved profit. So the wool comes from the sheep, and the customer is the sheep that is being fleeced. Not only that, banks also make profits through our card payments. That's not all. There is also a trap that is easy to be fleeced. You may have never noticed. That is, our repayment rate can be raised at any time, most banks in most countries. As long as they give users a notice of 10 to 15 days, they can raise the repayment rate by 1% or even 2% without consulting you in advance. Don't underestimate this 1%. 1% under the effect of compound interest. This small percentage of interest rolls over every month. Without you knowing it, the interest you owe the bank is getting more and more. So use credit cards wisely. Try to pay the full amount before the due date. Don't give the bank a chance to fleece you. The third secret is that the money you entrust to the bank is not staying in the bank. Honestly, you may have heard that when the financial crisis happened in 2008, people rushed to the bank, wanting to withdraw their money. Except for a few who were at the front of the line, most people could only go home empty-handed. This is because the money you entrust to the bank is not staying in the bank's vault. Honestly, they are using money to make money in every corner of the world. Only, this money has nothing to do with you. The most original profit model of banks is to take the money that people deposit in the bank, integrate or split, and then lend it out. By lending, they earn higher loan interest. A very small part of the loan interest will be used as deposit interest, paid to the people who deposit money in the bank, to encourage everyone to continue to deposit. The larger part is the income that the bank earns, although in theory we can withdraw our money at any time. After all, the bank will not lend out all the money. They will still leave some money. But if everyone goes to withdraw money at the same time, The reserved money will definitely not be enough. The bank naturally can't get back all the money they lent out to return to everyone. This is not to say that banks are unsafe. After all, our money is still protected by insurance and law. It's just that this is the basic principle of how banks operate. This point, you should still understand it as common sense. The fourth secret is that no matter how nice the bank customer manager is, don't treat them as friends. You may think that the lobby manager and bank teller who serve you are polite and enthusiastic, professional and not cold. The customer manager will also regularly send you holiday greetings, invite you to participate in credit card points, raffle activities, reserve VIP invitation cards for precious metal sales for you. When they launch a new machine, they call you and tell you that you are the first person they think of. But don't forget, even if your customer manager is very nice, you should never treat them as friends. After all, things that deal with money, we still have to judge rationally. Don't act on impulse. My customer manager once called me and told me I could change my credit card repayment settings to only pay the minimum repayment amount. For this month to experience, they won't charge me extra interest. They will call me again before next month's repayment to remind me to change it back. When I refused because of the hassle, he clearly told me that this was their department's performance requirement for this month. Asking me to help him complete the performance, I still firmly refused in the end. Many customer managers will play the emotional card to the customers they think are easy to talk to, recommend products that customers don't need to complete their performance, such as funds and wealth management that can't be sold, and loan projects that you don't need at all. Or the personal case I just mentioned, asking you to only pay the minimum amount when you can pay the full amount. Using experience as an excuse, there are many ways to make friends, but making friends with your bank customer manager is definitely not one of them. After all, they are not really taking you as a friend. The fifth secret is overseas transaction fees. Before, when we traveled abroad, we always had to exchange currency in advance. But now the bank cards are more and more advanced. They really help you to travel the world with one card. Swipe wherever you go. Not only saves the trouble of exchanging currency, but also don't have to carry a lot of cash around. Much safer. Another benefit is that you don't have to worry about exchanging too much or too little. But swiping cards is so convenient. If you don't pay attention to the overseas card fees, you may end up paying a huge amount of unexpected fees. You should know that not all banks, in all countries, support overseas consumption without fees. Understanding the cost of overseas card payments in advance can help you plan your travel financial plan better. In addition to saving unnecessary expenses, understanding the policy of your card's bank in advance also has other conveniences. For example, some banks will require you to notify your bank before you travel abroad. Otherwise, a sudden appearance of one after another overseas payments. The bank system may think that your card is being stolen abroad and automatically freeze the card temporarily. At that time, you are overseas. Card freezing and unfreezing is very troublesome and delays things. The sixth secret is to always pay attention to your account situation. We now have more and more card payments in our lives. Many people no longer pay special attention to their own transaction records, but it is because of neglecting to check their account situation regularly that some cunning merchants or even bad guys have the opportunity. Now, downloading subscription apps from the mobile app store is something that everyone does often. The apps on the market are varied and endless. Often some apps are unknowingly sent to the cold palace by us, never used again. But forget to cancel the subscription. Every year, or even every month, are regularly paying the developers. If you check your monthly transaction records at least monthly, it can help you discover these automatic payment items and stop the loss in time. Speaking of illegal card theft, if you find out and notify the bank in time, although the legal requirements vary from country to country, but in most cases you can recover the full amount of money that was stolen. But if you find out after 3 or 5 months, then don't blame the bank for shirking responsibility. The balance on your card may have been swiped. I had a friend before. He suddenly found out that the money on the card he used for savings was being transferred out one by one. Note that it was the card he used for savings, not the one he used for consumption. Fortunately, he found out in time and the bank got back all the money. The seventh secret is that every transaction record of yours is not a secret. Do you think that only you and the other party know your every transaction? Do you think that the bank is not so nosy to peek at your every transaction? Of course, if your transactions look normal, then they won't attract the bank's attention. But any abnormal transactions will be closely watched by the bank. In the United States, according to legal requirements, banks need to report any suspicious transactions to the IRS. Of course, not only in the United States, most countries in the world will have similar requirements. The main purpose of these requirements is still anti-money laundering. Sometimes it is also for foreign exchange control, and also to prevent tax evasion or abnormal transfer of assets abroad. Once I was exchanging currency at the bank, I heard two tellers talking about a private exchanger who was blacklisted by the bank. This person often exchanges a lot of currency at the bank at the normal price because his exchange frequency was too high, and he almost exchanged all the foreign currency in the bank every time he aroused the bank's attention. After checking the surveillance, they found out that he always waited outside the bank after exchanging and sold it at a high price to the people who came later and needed to exchange urgently. Don't think that this kind of private exchange is a normal business activity. You should know that the bank's existing foreign currency is limited every day, and they exchange a lot of money early in the morning. The people who really need to exchange can't exchange money through the regular channels with low prices and guarantees. The bank probably doesn't want you to know that your every transaction is under their close attention and may be reported to law enforcement at any time. But knowing this secret, you will probably pay more attention not to subscribe or buy some weird things online. Alright, that's it. This is the content we want to share with you in this episode. If you like it, don't forget to like and follow. Thank you for your attention. See you next time.